good morning. Emerson, a string of family deaths has led another victim. Lauren Fox has the latest on a tragic loss for a big-time oil company.
And looks like we will be easing on down the road when The Wiz comes to NBC in December. Amelia Fabiano has the full story on the musical revival.
All that and much, much more today, Thursday, April 2nd.
I'm Maggie Morlath.
And I'm Logan Reaver. A jam-packed show we have for you here today. We have Liliana Vazquez, who is a style correspondent for the likes of E! Network. We have the Today Show, so big-time correspondent coming in today to join us later on.
Very cool. She'll be Skyping us live from New York City, so that's going to be quite an opportunity. And later we will hear from Kenigsberg, who spoke with Acapella Anonymous, little tongue twister there, who recently competed for the International Acapella Championship.
Yeah, I think it's their second straight year of doing it. A very talented group, a bunch of very talented people. Of course, very Emerson-like acapella groups, but yeah, it should be fun to hear what they actually have to say outside of singing. And then later we have a style demo. We have mason jars with Gretchen Kuhsel, who is going to be decorating your room. It's going to look fantabulous after this, so look forward to that later on in the show.
Right, and as a former do-it-yourself correspondent on Good Morning Emerson, I'm very excited to be returning to my roots and getting crafty. But first, a U.S. senator is pleading not guilty to corruption charges. Lauren, what can you tell us about this?
Well, Maggie, prosecutors indicted New Jersey Senator Robert Menendez for corruption charges on Wednesday. The senator is charged with accepting $1 million worth of gifts in exchange for political favors. A federal grand jury in Newark says Dr. Solomon Melgen provided the senator with luxury travel and money for a legal defense fund, so Menendez would advocate his own business interests in Congress. Though Menendez and Melgen both face criminal charges, the top Democrat and former chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee says he is not going anywhere. He's expected to appear in federal court later today. And nuclear talks between Iran and 6 other world powers have extended past the March 31st deadline. Secretary of State John Kerry has renewed his efforts to limit Iran's nuclear program after threatening to abandon the talks. Negotiators from all sides are currently working on outlining an agreement, but State Department spokeswoman Marie Harf says there are still difficult issues to bridge. This talk comes after more than a decade of trying to limit Iran's nuclear development in the country's capital, Tehran. Though Iran denies having any military plans, Iranians continue to fight for their nuclear rights. Iran is also demanding the UN lift the sanctions currently imposed on their economy. If the UN does not come to an agreement this week, U.S. Congress has warned it will pose new sanctions on Iran. President Obama has threatened to veto any sanction legislation from the Republican majority Congress. And Andrew Getty, the 47-year-old grandson of oil tycoon J. Paul Getty, was found dead in his Hollywood home this Tuesday afternoon. Getty was one of the heirs to the family's multi-billion-dollar fortune that his grandfather left behind when he died in 1976. According to the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office, the death is suspected to be an accident because of medication found at the scene. A female friend of Getty's was at the house and reported his death to police. Los Angeles police say she is currently cooperating with the investigation. And former military general Muhammadu Buhari beat incumbent Goodluck Jonathan in Nigeria's presidential election, according to yesterday's final voting results. This marks the first time a sitting president has ever lost an election in Nigeria's history. Jonathan peacefully conceded, staying true to his promise to maintain a free and fair election. Buhari beat Jonathan by more than 2.5 million votes. Jonathan has occupied the presidency since 2011 and led the country in the fight against Boko Haram, an Islamist militant group that has killed thousands of innocent civilians in a violent attempt to establish an Islamic state. Many voters think Buhari will be better equipped to fight the attacks, especially in Borno State, where Buhari won 94% of the vote. Since Nigeria's independence from Great Britain in 1960, there has been speculation that the majority of presidential elections have been rigged. Journalist and political analyst Kadaria Ahmed says Buhari's come to power is a sign that Nigerian democracy is maturing. And a recent medical breakthrough has a little girl riding her bike better than ever. A little girl in California who had part of her left arm amputated after birth got a new hand thanks to 3D printing technology. 7-year-old Faith Lennox operates the lightweight prosthetic simply by moving her upper arm back and forth, which opens and closes the fingers without the use of sensors. Faith says she chose her new hand to have blue and pink fingers because they are her favorite colors. Because it is likely Faith will outgrow the hand within a year, it's a huge bonus that the prosthetic only costs $50 to make. The current adult model with sensors is not only heavier, but it costs between $15,000 and $20,000. The hand was constructed by a company called Build It Workspace, and this is the first hand the company has ever built. The first thing Faith did when she strapped on the prosthetic hand was ride her bike around the Build It Workspace parking lot. With Faith already writing and drawing with her new hand, this medical breakthrough is certainly something to be excited about. That's all the news I have for you today. Back to Logan and Maggie at the desk.
Well, thanks for that bright report, and I hope Michael has a bright report for us as well.
Always bright.
Oh,
yeah. Also this week I've been noticing the final remnants of the snow. The god-awful winter, I think, is finally behind us, at least snow-wise.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of makes you just not beg that you have to be inside all the time.
Oh, definitely.
Michael, how's it been like to be outside for the first time in maybe months?
I think it's been great. I was so happy the other day when I walked outside and saw the plows finally pulling all that last bit of snow and the Patriots parade confetti off the side of the street.
We're not over that yet.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We want that confetti there forever.
Yeah, it's something to be remembered. But this winter's also something to be remembered.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't we talk about the weather? Right now, it's fairly chilly outside at 37 degrees with wind speeds of 17 miles per hour, making it feel even colder. We only have a relative humidity around 42%, keeping the air from being too dry, so that should at least pull some of the bite out of the breeze. Even though we have a bit of sun peeking through the clouds here and there, I would still recommend a coat when traveling around outside. Tonight, you'll probably want to swap your jacket out for an umbrella because the temperature is going up and the rain is coming down. Wind speeds stay around 16 miles per hour, and we have a 50% chance to see some showers, but realistically, I see a few scattered showers tonight, while tomorrow is when we'll be seeing most of the rain. Along with 80% chance of rain we'll be seeing tomorrow, Boston's temperature is going to continue to rise to a little higher than 61 degrees. With a relative humidity of 71%, we could expect it to feel a little muggy, so it's going to be a gross day overall. Moving on to our 5-day forecast, this week isn't looking too bad. Other than those few showers we were just talking about, there's a nice week ahead of us. After this short stint of rain, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday should all be fairly sunny with highs in the 40s. Saturday and Sunday night, it looks like we might be dipping back below freezing for a bit, but hopefully most of the water will be gone by then to prevent any crazy ice patches. These temperatures all seem pretty warm compared to what we've been having, but if we examine previous years, it's actually a fair bit colder than what we're used to this time of year. Let's take a look. Though yesterday was April Fool's Day, this winter has been no joke. The temperatures we've been seeing have been no laughing matter. With Boston coming out of one of its coldest winters ever, the rest of the country is preparing for above average temperature highs for this time of year. While some places enter April with temperatures 7 degrees above their average like Boise or Dallas, or 27 degrees in places like Bismarck, Boston is barely hitting the mark for the average April temperatures. With this in mind, Massachusetts and the Northeast are expecting fairly below average April temps, so be prepared to watch all of your out-of-state friends post bikini pics on Facebook while you're still sporting that turtleneck sweater. Speaking of Facebook pictures, we want yours. Send recent pictures of yourself enjoying the new spring weather, your friends dancing in the rain, or just great pictures of Boston to gme@emersonchannel.org, and we might feature them on the show. That's all I have for you today, whether you like it or not. I'm Michael Kyanis. Back to you, Maggie and Logan.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
We are now joined via Skype by Liliana Vazquez, professional style correspondent who contributes to the Today Show, E! News, Access Hollywood, and more. Liliana, thank you so much for joining
thank you.
us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So just to start off, can you please tell us about how you got into the field? That's definitely something I aspire to, and I know a lot of Emersonians would like to follow your path as well.
Yeah, of course. I always tell people I didn't have the straightest path to my career. I've had probably 6 different jobs, all touching fashion and media, but in very different roles. And I think for me, what's been really interesting about it is that all of them have played a really critical role in setting me up for what I'm doing now. So I started at W Magazine, and there I kind of got a taste for, I guess, what you would call like the very high fashion life, which I loved, but as a 22-year-old college graduate, I certainly didn't have the budget to afford anything that we were writing about or talking about in the magazine. And from there, I really wanted a more creative outlet. So I went to work as an art director at an ad agency that really focused on a lot of accessible brands. So all mainstream brands like your JCPenney's and your Sears and your big Hallmark kind of mall stores. And that is really where I had my aha moment to think, I'm able to take the taste and the preferences that I have for really high fashion looks, but I can certainly translate them into something that's really accessible for all women. And from there, I kind of got the inspiration to start my blog. So it's been a fun, bumpy road, but I'm really excited to be where I am now.
So can you sort of explain to us your agenda on a day-to-day basis? You don't work for just one specific publication. You have your blog. You go on several shows. How does that sort of
Very
operate?
busy,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So my schedule is really week to week, which is kind of the fun of it. I definitely have a major case of ADD, so it's nice to be able to change up my environment week to week. So on any given week, I could contribute to 5 different media outlets. But for the most part, the show that I work on very regularly on is called New York Live, and it's part of NBC4's daytime lineup. And it's the only lifestyle show in New York City. And I get to cover everything from, of course, fashion and beauty to food and entertainment and red carpet. So for me, it's the perfect blend of everything that I really love to do. And then on other days, I'm helping promote my brand and my blog, which is thelvguide.com. And I do tons of style segments. So really showing women kind of what the trends are, how to wear them, answering questions on, how to wear really basic clothes in a really fun way. And that's what I think I love best about my job is really making fashion accessible for all women, no matter kind of what their style is, what their budget is, or kind of where they are in life's road. A lot of it is college students and some of it's new moms. And it's just a really fun conversation to be able to have with women from all different backgrounds. But the one thing we all have in common is that we really love fashion. So it's really, really exciting.
Definitely. And sort of what trends can we look out for this spring, and what personal tips would you have for anybody looking to get into sort of style and break out this spring?
Well, I always say to women, the easiest way to incorporate trends is through your accessories because it doesn't require you to spend a ton of money and buy a whole new wardrobe. And one of the trends that I'm particularly loving, I think, going forward is kind of this throwback, bohemian, kind of relaxed 70s vibe that you're seeing a lot of right now. It happens to be one of my favorite decades style-wise. And so like that late 60s, early 70s vibe is really happening for spring fashion. So you're seeing a lot of this kind of, a lot of like suedes and a lot of fringe detail and a lot of kind of what you're seeing at this juncture, which is all about this kind of festival fashion. I love the mixing of kind of that more relaxed bohemian look with something that's a little bit more dressed up. I think for me, when I look at personal style and what makes somebody really successful and what makes them have a style of their own, it's kind of the juxtaposition between two opposites. So I tend to be a little bit more polished day to day and a little bit more girly. So mixing in those kind of bohemian accents and accessories really give my look an updated feel.
All right,
Awesome.
Liliana, well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been awesome, and we really appreciate you
Yes,
taking
thank
time out of your
you
day.
so much.
Of course, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so right now we're going to jump to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we are going to have sports and all sorts of singing.
Welcome back to the show.
Baseball season is almost on the brink of return. Spring training wrapping up. Maggie, I know you are excited.
I actually am. I'm not a huge sports person, but baseball is definitely my favorite, and it's probably the only sport I actually pay attention to.
No, well, yeah, you got those guys. You got the Sox. You got the high Sox. You were
Oh,
saying
yeah.
the other day that you're a big fan of the high Sox as opposed to the low Sox.
Yeah, it's definitely a
nowadays.
trend that the guys are wearing the pants all the way down to their ankles, but I like to see those socks.
Well, Sean, do you like to see Sox? How do you feel about 2015 baseball?
I think 2015 is going to be great, and I also am a fan of wearing the high socks.
Right?
When I played
Old
baseball
school.
for a while, I would always rock the high socks.
Yeah.
I was a lefty catcher. That's always
What
something
was
a
your
little
batting
different.
average, Sean?
Oh, probably like 400. I'm pretty good.
But
This season is going to be very exciting, even for the Red Sox. They have finally found their new right fielder. Manager John Farrell announced yesterday that that Shane Victorino will be starting over Resny Castillo. Last season, Victorino only played in 30 games for the Red Sox. However, he does have a career batting average of 277. It is now likely that Castillo will start the season in AAA affiliate Pawtucket. The other starting outfielders for the Sox will be Hanley Ramirez and Mookie Betts. And Tuesday night, the Bruins had a crucial win against the Florida Panthers. The Bees knocked off the Panthers with a final score of 3-2, and a must-win for the Bruins if they want to make the playoffs. Scoring for the Bruins was Eriksson, Pastrnak, and Lucic. The Bruins are now only 2 points behind 7th place Red Wings and have put themselves in a great place with only 5 games remaining. However, in those last 5 games, they are taking on Detroit, Toronto, Washington, Florida, and Tampa Bay. It's a tough schedule. And the Dallas Cowboys re-signed linebacker Rolando McClain yesterday. The two parties agreed to a 1-year, $3 million deal. McClain is a very interesting signing for the Cowboys, though, since he has a history of injuries and is facing a 4-game fine for violating the NFL's substance use policy. McClain was the 8th overall pick for the Raiders in 2010. However, before last season, he hadn't played a game since 2011. Last year, McClain finished with 81 tackles and was second in voting for the Comeback Player of the Year. And Kevin Durant won't be a free agent until 2016. However, yesterday he made it clear that he wants to stay in OKC for the rest of his career. KD said that he would, in fact, like to have his jersey retired in Oklahoma City. There was thought that in 2016 Durant would want to join the Wizards since he grew up in DC. However, now we don't have to worry about that anymore. We can watch the KD and Westbrook show for years to come. And now to get you caught up on everything you need to know about the Final Four this weekend. Kentucky, Wisconsin, Duke, Michigan State. Those are the final 4 teams left in the NCAA tournament. But who will take home the crown? Let's break down each matchup right now. First off, we'll see Michigan State battling Duke on Saturday. Michigan State shocked fans by making it to the Final Four as a 7 seed, but don't go ahead and roll them out. Last year, UConn won as a 7 seed. And then there's the mighty power that is Duke and Coach K coming in as a 1 seed. Tough decision, but I'm taking Michigan State. Duke's road to get here wasn't nearly as tough as Michigan State. Valentine, Trice, and Dawson are playing at the top of their game, and I think those 3 work with each other a little bit better than Okafor, Jones, and Winslow for Duke. And the next matchup is Kentucky against Wisconsin, and that will be an incredible game. Wisconsin is shooting great, and Kaminsky and Decker are connecting on all cylinders. If Kaminsky is able to lock down Karl Anthony Towns, I think that Wisconsin is going to be able to take this one. So Wisconsin, Michigan State, that's my final matchup, and I'm going to take Wisconsin. I think they have what it takes to get it done. Sorry, Tom Izzo, but not this year. That's it for sports. Now back to Maggie and Logan.
Wow, so no Kentucky. Bold, that's bold, Sean.
We'll have to see how that plays out. But now Aaron Kenigsberg had an exclusive interview with Emerson's own Acapella Anonymous, who recently competed at the International Championship of Collegiate Acapella. Let's check it out.
Hey guys, and welcome to the next installment of Spotlight. Tonight we are here with Acapella Anonymous, an Emerson acapella group who recently competed in the semifinals of the International Competition of Collegiate Acapellas. And today they're going to sing a little song for us. It's a medley of Earth, Wind, and Fire, so let's listen. Remember, that's when it first light. September, the changes.
Say
You can catch the Acapellics at Emerson's 2015 Green Gala on April 2nd at the Paramount Theater. And that's what's in the spotlight.
Thanks for the entertainment, Aaron. But now we have some sad news coming out of the music world. Joni Mitchell has experienced a medical emergency. Amelia, what's happening?
Maggie, actually, she has been hospitalized, which is pretty scary stuff there, I think, you know.
So what's the situation?
Well, we don't really know a whole lot. You know, fans are definitely left with a lot more questions than answers, but let's try and answer some of them at least right now. There's a medical scare in the music industry this week. Singer-songwriter Joni Mitchell was hospitalized on Tuesday after she was found unconscious in her home. It's still unclear what caused the medical emergency, but there are reports that she had a surgical procedure upon arrival at the hospital. Sources say she was alert, awake, and in good spirits while undergoing tests later in the night, however. The 71-year-old is pretty much synonymous with the Woodstock generation, well known for 70s hit Big Yellow Taxi, which most of my generation probably knows as that Counting Crows song that came out around 15 years ago. Mitchell was also actually inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1997. Fun fact there, with this year's inductions coming up later this month. And also in the world of music, we all know how wildly successful Spotify is, but we also know that not all artists are into the whole free streaming service thing. Well, don't worry everyone, because Jay-Z's got it covered with his own music streaming service called Tidal. The prompter's gone.
This is the story that changed the course of history forever today. The final frontier. Yes, the last stand. Town hall for creativity. Yes, with the most powerful.
Every great movement started with a group of people being able to get together and really just make a stand.
If these artists can sit in a room together, the game changes forever.
It was definitely a really intense commercial there. I mean, you kind of have them playing this whole, like, you know, it's definitely twice the price of Spot. Ooh, it's definitely highly. Well, the hottest trend in the movie world is definitely live action movies, especially in Disney's movie world. The next project they're eyeing, though, is Mulan. The producers of We're the Millers are producing the new project centered on the Chinese female warrior legend. Disney's been on quite the roll lately between Cinderella and the upcoming Beauty and the Beast and Dumbo live action remakes. All I want to see with this live action Mulan, though, is some serious woman power and that little lizard dragon dude, and then I will be satisfied. Speaking of live action, NBC's live musical events are officially an annual tradition. We had Sound of Music, a safe bet, Peter Pan, getting a little higher there, but this year is a total plot twist. So we all know The Wiz, a classic spin on a classic tale, but this version is going to be produced by acrobatics connoisseurs from Cirque du Soleil. Listen, we better be getting the Tin Man doing some serious double backflips or something during this thing. I expect nothing less after this announcement. I mean, the 1978 movie adaptation was kind of a flop, so let's make this the ultimate live resurrection. NBC will broadcast The Wiz live this year on December 3rd. So now that this whole live musical extravaganza is a thing, let's take a look at my own wish list for the musicals I want NBC to do someday. So first, I would love to see West Side Story live on TV. We'd have a nice diverse cast, some serious show-stopping ensemble dances, but this one may be too inappropriate for younger audiences. I mean, it is ultimately about gang violence and racism, so that one may not fly. But this next one may just work. Beauty and the Beast is a beautiful musical masterpiece and is so fun, and I love me a nice, strong, independent heroine, so this would be perfect. Finally, this one's definitely not appropriate for children. Chicago is one of my favorites. It's so hot and such a classic. I would love to see it played out live with some fierce leads like Beyonce and Lady Gaga or something, but we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. Well, that wraps it up for me today, but I will see you all next week right here. I'm Amelia Fabiano. Maggie and Logan, back to you.
Thank you so much, Amelia. And now to continue talking style in this episode, we have Gretchen Kuhsel here to show us these mason jars.
Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I love to just update my room when the seasons change. I brighten it up a little bit for spring. And I know candles are contraband, so I have a little way around that with some mason jars. So this is what the final product looks like.
So cute.
So what we're going to do is we have a plain mason jar here, some beads that we just picked up from a craft store. So these are from TJ Maxx. All of this is under $5.
Amazing.
So we're going to just use the hot glue gun, which, you know, not super safe for the dorms, but you can get away with
Still
it.
very easy to use.
You got to make it look good. You got to take those risks, hot glue.
And then you just stick it on.
Oh,
and
perfect.
It's there. So it's super easy, super convenient.
Hot glue is the best.
Exactly. And then the reason why we want to put the gems on, not only just make it look better, but if we have the little tea light, pop it in there.
Oh, so cute. That'd be a great gift or something, too.
Oh, totally. And then next is organization. I have stuff all over my desk once it hits spring and finals are coming up and everything. So for girls, makeup brushes, anything like that. For guys, if you want to put toothbrush, toothpaste, shaving products, that
Wow,
kind of stuff.
I do own a toothbrush, so I will be looking into putting it into a mason jar.
And also just your pens and pencils, things laying around your desk.
Awesome.
And then Easter's coming up, any sort of spring candy. I'm always noshing on things in spring. So this is super cute. You just, I mean, anything on Pinterest.
Oh, yeah.
On the colors, they teach you how to do it all.
With the different layers.
Yeah,
Exactly.
when I first saw that, I just thought, oh wow, that's just for the color aspect. Then I found out they were actually jelly beans,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that
Yeah.
adds up.
I'm going to have to do this weekend for Easter. Give these as gifts, maybe.
Yeah. The younger cousins would really appreciate
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Even just kind of like update your Easter basket.
Oh, yeah.
A more hip Easter basket.
Oh, for sure. Much better.
And then we have all different varieties of mason jars. So we don't just have the ones for decoration, but we can drink out of these ones. We have the miniature versions. And again, all from TJ Maxx, all super inexpensive.
Did these all come in a set?
Yeah, so these both
awesome.
came in a set of 4.
I love the handle.
I know, so you can even drink hot drinks out of that. I see people with their tea bags.
Oh, yeah, coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
A very diverse cup, and then of course the
Cute
smaller
little
one
ones,
for
maybe
smaller
for-
liquids. Of
or for a
course.
party, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it's awesome now. I feel like mason jars, it's just kind of a fad in a way, but definitely very hip. And now they're making them in all shapes and sizes. I mean, you have the big ones as a vase for flowers. You have the tiny little ones for candles, too.
Yep.
Just really awesome. You could put anything in there.
Super necessary for any spring room.
Oh, for sure. Well, thank you so
Yes,
much,
thank you,
Gretchen.
Gretchen.
And that's our show. We hope everyone enjoys their time with family and friends this Easter and Passover weekend.
Definitely. We will see you on Tuesday.